Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the mat. And welcome to Design Inspiration for Autumn's Embrace. We are going to be getting into Project 1 today. I'm considering this Project 1 because the video I uploaded yesterday, the earrings, although they are a project and they only took a minute, I just was trying to give you guys a few tips and tricks if you hadn't realized already with the links. And if you didn't catch that video, check that out from yesterday. Although we can consider this project 1, we'll consider today project 1 because these were so simple and easy. So fun though. Love these links. I love this look on these cool earrings. Nevertheless, we're going to get going into some beautiful designs. I hope you guys agree. But real quick, friends, friendly reminder, there is a link in the show notes below the video for Whatnot. That is my invitation link to you. If you have not signed up for Whatnot already, you can download the app on your phone or your tablet, or use your computer to create an account, get yourself all set up, and by using that link, you get $15 of free product from me. I will be doing an auction, what is it, 6 o'clock. I had to think, 6 o'clock today, which is September 19th, Friday, September 19th at 6 p.m. my time, Pacific Standard Time. And I hope to see you guys over there. Now that $15 credit you guys get, do not have to spend that all in one show. You can spend that over any amount of time or all at once. It's totally up to you. But I hope to see you guys there. And also, real quick, because I'm thinking about it, friends, you do not want to miss October's premiere, the first Saturday of October, my October Sparkle Bag. Guys, this is going to be a really cool bag, guys. I mean, well, I love all my bags, but this one in particular, you guys are not going to want to miss because it's my anniversary bag. It will be specially priced for a limited time, and I will be making some announcements on that video that are going to pertain to my channel and some things that are going to be coming up here in the holiday season with me and all things to do in my world. So you don't want to miss that video and those announcements. So guys, let's get to what we're doing, shall we? We are going to make a beautiful, basically a wire bracelet, a cuff, not quite a cuff. We're just going to do, well, it can be a cuff. We're only going to do one piece of wire. And then we're going to do a cool little wrap. Now, let me show you my inspiration. My inspiration is this really cool bracelet that I made last summer in 2024. We're not going to do the wraps, but we're going to do something similar. I'm going to do a spin on this. I love this bracelet, and I'm going to do a little bit of a spin on something very similar to this. Not quite, but something similar. And so what we're going to use, my friends, for a project like this, I'm using some 18 gauge wire. This is a beautiful wire. It's the Para wire. Here's what I'm using today. And it is, of course, a copper core. It is in an antique copper color, just beautiful. And it's an 18 gauge. I would highly recommend a 16 or an 18 gauge wire for this bracelet. 16 or 18 gauge. I am, again, using 18 gauge. I've already worked my wire out. I have flush cut either side and straightened it. And I'm working with a 12-inch piece of wire. Now, it might be a little bit much for your standard size wrist, which I have a pretty standard size wrist. However, friends, we're going to be making both our clasp and wire wrap loop, and I don't want to short myself. So I'd rather have more and cut it off of my wire wrap loop than not have enough. So that is the reason I cut about 12-inch piece here. And again, I've already pretty much straightened it out and done everything I need to do and prepared my wire. The next thing I'm going to be using is a pretty much like almost a wingspan, a decent size piece of wire. This is a 24 gauge, and this 24 gauge is in silver. Okay, and so we'll have a little contrast here. You'll see a little bit of my wire, not much. You'll see a little bit of it though, but I'm not mad at the silver going with these beads over here. And again, I've just basically cut about a wingspan. I just didn't want to short myself. And then I folded it in half, basically, and that's 24 gauge. You can use 26 gauge, but I would not do 22 gauge on this one. I think it's going to be too bulky of a look for what I'm going for today. But if you want to make something similar, I'd go with a 24 gauge or a 26 gauge for your second wire here. And then we'll use our standard tools, some nylon jaw, our flush wire cutter, some chain nose, and a 6-step bail making. And we're gonna get started with that tool. And then my beads, my friends. I'm gonna be using the 8mm Unakite in the matte, and the 4mm, I think this was the Yellow Meadows mix, and that's those 4mm rondelles. And so really it's just 2 beads and some wire for this project. So let's get going. In order to start out, friends, what I'm gonna do is I am going to grab my chain nose pliers, and I am basically gonna go down like around about 1.5 inches from the top of your wire there. Okay, to get ourselves started, we're gonna make the first part of our clasp, which will make a little hook. So I'm just gonna go down about 1 inch, 1.5 inches here, and I am simply going to turn my chain nose all the way around to where I basically just bent that in half, pretty much. Basically, that's all that is. And now I'm gonna go in here and fidget with it a little bit, just to make it look a little nicer. I am going to press it together here, just a little bit, and I'm pretty much okay with that right there. It's basically what I've got, okay? And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my bail making. You can use any size you want for your clasp here. I like to use my 4th or 5th, so either the 5 or the 7mm. I think that's a good size loop. So just to bend our hook. So I am going to just take now my wire that I bent in half here. I'm gonna put it between my pliers, and I am going to decide, I think maybe I'll use the 5. And then I'm gonna go down about 3/4 of an inch or so. And then I'm simply going to hold the wire between my pliers here, and then I'm just gonna grab this part that I bent, and I'm gonna shape it around. I'm just gonna turn it around basically to hug that wire, just like that. That's all we have to do there, okay? Now I'm gonna take that small wire without removing it from my plier quite yet, and I'm going to push this wire over. Okay, so this is what we have, and now I'm gonna grab my chain nose. I'm going to put my chain nose on that bend of the wire there, and I am going to wrap that wire around to get a wire wrap loop in here. And I'm gonna have to turn this around. Sorry guys, my wire might hit the camera. It's such a long piece of wire I'm working with at the moment. And we're just gonna grab this just to make one nice wrap. And now I'm gonna take it out and see if I need to adjust, then I can adjust. So let me put this back in my bail making, and then I can kind of just shape that wire around my tool, make it a little nicer than I had it a second ago. Your wire will, turn around on you a little bit. And again, I will wait to really fidget with that if I need to do any final fidgeting with this part of my clasp. I can do that when I'm done. But basically now this is pretty much what I've got. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do, friends, is I'm gonna feed on my 8mm. Now, depending upon the size wrist you have, and again, I have a standard size wrist, will depend upon how many beads you need. I have, I believe, 19. I believe I have 19 beads, 19 or 20 here. I'll tell you in 1 second. And of course, adjust that according, to the size wrist you have. Everybody's will be different. And what's great too about these bracelets, guys, there's just so many designs and ways we can do them. So hopefully you guys just find this to be something fun. Hopefully you've got some wire in your arsenal. And I tell you, this bag to me, Autumn's Embrace, is just screaming like leather and wire. So I'm about to jump into some serious leather and wire inspiration. I hope you guys are here for it, because that's what's happening. I'm just feeling it. Okay, so that's what I've got. So let me tell you how many beads I have here, my friends. I have 19, okay? And another way you can tell, friends, is you can grab your bracelet and you can turn it around and turn this guy around. And I can tell there, by the time I put these other beads on there and make my wire wrap loop, I'm good. Even if I need to add a jump ring, I can also make a jump ring out of my wire here, which I might do that. So I think that that's plenty. That's plenty fine for me, okay? So we've got that going for us. Next step, friends, is going to grab the end of my bracelet over here. Like, there's quite a bit of wire here. It doesn't necessarily matter how much or how little because I know I'm going to trim. But I do want to stop my beads from falling off. So in order to do that, I can just put a slight bend in my wire. So I'm going to do that right here. And that's all that's for, is literally just to hold my beads from falling off as I am getting ready to do what I'm going to do right now. And so now with the wire I have folded in half, I'm going to go ahead and put that around. I'm going to bring this up. So now I have this wire here, and now I'm just going to basically anchor it. So sorry, apologize guys, I've got wire going everywhere. I'm just going to basically crisscross this nice and tight, and I'm just going to do a couple of wraps here just to get this wire pretty much anchored. That's all I'm trying to do right now. And we'll tighten those wraps up, just squeeze them together. Pull your wires really nice and tight. And now basically this is what I have here, friends. And notice that my clasp is facing down. I find that to be easier to put them off and my bracelet off and on for my clasp to be folded down. Okay, so I've just got 3 wraps in there. Okay, so now, easy part is we're just gonna go ahead and start feeding on these 4mm rondelles. And I'm just gonna go ahead and feed them on randomly. And so I've got about halfway down here, guys. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna take the end of my wire and I'm just gonna kind of fold it, and that'll just help my cause, right? So you can either feed them all the way down or you can feed your beads as we go. And so I'm gonna stop right there, and what I'm gonna do is I am basically going to take and slide up pretty much 3 beads, and let me move it this way, guys, my way here. Okay, so again, my clasp is facing my mat, okay? And I have 3 beads. I've got them pushed all the way up. And then what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm basically just gonna grab my, like the right side here. And let's see, is it gonna be about that? It's about that many. Okay, about that many beads. So I will tell you how many that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So basically 10 beads. And I'm going to take this side and I'm going to go over and crisscross, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10. So there's my beads and they're crisscrossed. Can you see that there, guys? Okay, they're crisscrossed. And then what I'm gonna do is I am going to pick up the Unakite beads, right? And then I am going to twist that around once. And then I'm gonna twist this one and go the other way. Going that way. And then we are gonna go ahead and tighten up, move these beads out of our way, and then we'll just tighten that up. So just push all your beads up, and then 10. Okay. And let's see here. Just want to tighten those wraps up where they're kind of coming out flat there on either side. And then we can push up another 3 beads. And then we're gonna do the same thing. And because this is 24 gauge, we can mold it any way we want, right? It's not gonna matter that it keeps getting all bent on you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 beads right there. And so I'm gonna push these Unakite up, and then I'm going to take this wire here and I'm gonna wrap it around twice, all right? And then I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. I'll pull this one down on this side. And we need 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 beads. And then I'm going to lay that down. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to wrap it around. And do a nice clean wrap there. So essentially, that's what we're doing. And it's just kind of making like these little beaded frames. And again, we can keep, you know, fussing with this, and you can move your beads, you know, within reason here to get them in the way that you want them to look. And we're just going to keep going like this. So now I am going to, I can see I need more beads. So I'm going to straighten my wire back out here, this 24 gauge, right? And I'm going to feed more beads on. And then I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull these 3 up, and then I'm going to do that again. So let's see. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then there's 10. So there's 10 beads right there. Okay. And so I'm going to push the gems up, and I'm going to kind of hold them. And then I am going to take this wire and wrap it around right underneath that Unakite and just do a nice tight wrap. One nice tight wrap around there. And then we'll push it up, and then the same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need one more bead, so I can take my bend out very easily here. And I'll feed another bead on. And then I'm going to bring this around, and I'm going to lay that wire right there at that intersection. And same thing, I'm going to do a nice tight wrap to where this wire is coming this way. So really, guys, if you wanted to feed all your beads on, or feed them a little as you go, or like just feed them section at a time, it's completely up to you. It's really no right or wrong. It's however you are comfortable. And again, we will, you know, fidget around and shape this. You know, once I get to the end and curve it around my wrist, we will go ahead and shape this perfectly. But notice how it's a little bit loose here. I want that right now for the simple fact that I still have to bend it into place, right? So I do want a little bit of movement. We'll tighten it up once we get its final shape. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep feeding on my beads and doing the same procedure until I get to the end. And then we will finish it up, and I will show you how I finish this guy up with the wire wrap loop. And if we need to make a jump ring for extension, we can do that too. Okay guys, so I'm coming to my final run here. And because I decided to do sections of 3 of my Unakites, and then I put on 19, right? So I have 1 extra bead. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this final run here with you guys, just to make sure you guys see what I'm doing here, in case you really love this. It's just such a super easy wire wrapping project, friends. It's just really almost relaxing. It's what it is. I am just so enjoying the peacefulness of working with this beautiful gemstone and this beautiful wire. So I'm really enjoying. So I've got this side here, friends, right? And as you can tell, I came up and around, right, on this wire. So I've crisscrossed. Basically, we're just crisscrossing our wires. So I have 10 beads on here. I'm pulling up 3 in my Unakite. And then I'm going to go ahead and basically grab this wire, and I am going to wrap it around right where that bead stops there. So I'm going to do a nice tight wrap once, and now this wire is going this way. And now for this wire, I'm going to feed on my 10 beads, and then we'll wrap it to where it's going the opposite direction. And that's what I'm doing this whole time here. There's 5, 6. It's really a great project. I think that this is going to be so beautiful for the fall, and it's not hard. It's really not a hard project. Just takes a little bit of patience. So now I've got this wire, right? So I'm going to go ahead, and now I'm going to lay that wire right across the previous wrap there, right? And basically I'm going to wrap it around, and so now he's going to come this way, and I'm going to push that wire in and pull that wire tight. So once again, I have my wires coming out opposite sides here. Okay, and so now what we have to do is I have to decide if I need to put on 2 more beads, or do I just do an extender with some jump rings, right? So that's what we're about to find out right now before we finish this guy up. So the first thing I'm gonna do is, I still have my bend in there, right? So I'm gonna kind of straighten that out, and I'm gonna put my bend much closer to that bead, okay? And now, friends, all I'm gonna do is simply, we can grab a mandrel if we want, or any object, or I like to do it the good old-fashioned way, really fancy schmancy, friends, and put it right on around my wrist and see where I'm at. And it looks to me like I am, look at that, guys. I couldn't have predicted that myself. That is actually perfect, just exactly the way it is. So there you go. So I needed 18 beads. Okay, so now let's do this. Let's take this last gemstone off, and we'll finish this guy up. Straighten that out. And off he comes. And we're all set there with those guys. Clear things out of the way here. And I'm probably going to do my bail making at this point, and need my cutters as well. And so now, guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap this around one more time each, super, super tight, and push it really tight there. And this one's going to come around this way, and I'm laying those wraps over each other there. And so there we go. Okay, and what I'm going to do is now I'm going to go around, and I'm going to make sure that everything looks just the way I want. Now this is where I'll fidget with my clasp, this portion of my clasp. So let me tell you what I do. I fidget. I just basically fidget. So if I want to bring that up a little, I just basically utilize my bail for these, my bail making. That's what I do, guys. That's what I find to be the best. It kind of keeps your wire in shape. And yeah, I think that's good. Now, I might want to take and bend that up a little bit, that end, and I mean just barely, just slightly. Okay, and now this is where I will go around and see what needs any kind of, if anything needs to get pushed up. Now that it's kind of in its shape, I will do that now. So I'll try to get everything all kind of snug. Now, if it has a little bit of movement, I'm okay with that. I am totally okay with that. But for the most part, I want it to be, you know, pretty well snug with my beads in place. Okay, so now that I had to push that up quite a bit there, I am now going to go ahead and wrap this wire one more time for good measure. 2 more times is a charm. And I'm wrapping towards the beads on this. I'm gonna let that one land down there and I'm gonna trim it. And then same thing over here. I'm kind of laying the wraps on top of each other, going towards the bead. And I will turn it this way and we'll go ahead and flush cut. And this one, flush cut. I will keep my scraps. And now we'll go ahead and flatten that in there so it doesn't poke me. Kind of get that tucked in there. I think that's good. Make sure I don't have anything poking at me. I think that one needs to be tucked in a little better right there. Okay. I think that's good. And so now what I need to do is my loop. And so in order to do my loop, I am going to, I think I'm going to use my 5mm. So we will go this way. I guess I'll turn it this way to make it easier on myself. And I'm gonna end up doing a wire wrap, friends, to wrap a little bit over that silver wire right there. So I'm gonna go about right there. And I'm just gonna wrap that around. Make myself a nice, generous loop so that's easy for me to get on and off. So it's a nice size loop. And we'll wrap that up. So let's get this around. And again, guys, you know, I'm working with 18 gauge here. Right, so it's not super soft. Okay, I'm gonna have to take that out. And let me see if I can just get this wrapped around. I'm gonna hold my loop. And I'm going to try to do some clean wraps here and wrap that around and over that silver wire there. And so that's kind of gonna cover that up, but also further secure everything that we just did there with those beads on the silver wire. So I'm very happy with that. And now I'm gonna go ahead and trim that off. Have a nice, beautiful, it's a really pretty wrap actually. If I say so, that's actually a really pretty wrap. And let me just bring that in and tuck that. And I hope you guys enjoyed Project 1, Friday Frolic Fun Day. Let me reshape my loop. I'm not sure which one I used. Which one did you use? This one. And are inspired. I love working with wire and seeing where it takes me. And so that's what I've got there, guys. And now this is where we can just finally shape it. And then again, I will press in, just with my fingers, I can press that bail in that I made there, my clasp. And let's see if I need to add. I don't, guys, I don't even need to add a jump ring. It just loops perfectly. And that's what we have, my friends. Let me get it turned around the right way. That is what we have. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love, love, love. It looks like it's almost 3 bracelets. I love this. Almost looks like 3 bracelets, right? Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed Friday Frolic Fun Day. I hope to see you guys later in my auction on Whatnot. And until the next one, my friends, Project 1 is under our belt. And be blessed.